Well, it's that time of year, you guys. Spring freezer inventory. I have been eating out of my side by side for the past 2.5 months and really ignoring my deep freezer. So now it's time to get in here and remind myself what all I've stuffed in here over the past year. I've got a lot of loose things that I've tucked on top in the last few months, so I'm going to pull those out, put all those in the bag so I can get them inside, and then go through those on the counter real quick before I pull everything else out, and we'll review it all on the counter. I always start my deep freezer inventory by putting a big towel down because you know how it goes. Everything starts dripping real quick. No matter how fast you do this, if you're doing an entire freezer, put that towel down. So these are the loose things that were on top. I'm just going to sort these out really quickly and put meat on one side and etceteras on the other side. And then we'll get into the bigger baskets from the bottom of the deep freezer. I've certainly stocked up well on the Springer Mountain Farms over the past few months. To begin with the end in mind, I wanted to show you really quickly how I have my veggies stored in here down below the metal baskets that came with the freezer. These are Dollar Tree baskets I've doubled up for strength. And of course, there's always frost on the freezer, and I'll get to scraping that later in the video. And I wanted to show everyone what I think are the perfect baskets, at least for a 7 cubic foot deep freezer. I got these a couple years ago at Aldi for around $5. And the greatest thing about these are they're super heavy duty yet very flexible plastic. So they hold up to the cold without getting brittle and are strong enough that even when you have these loaded to the top, you can pull them out without feeling like the handles are going to break. And I stack these two on top of each other to the one side of the freezer. And then because the space is pretty narrow, I use those heavier duty shopping bags in the middle to make the most of the deep freezer. But to give you an idea, since Aldi doesn't always have those baskets, I saw these at Dollar Tree for $5. They're very close. And then I saw these at Walmart. They're bigger. I'm not sure about these in the sense of how well they would fit in the freezer. I think they're an option though. And then in looking over in the laundry basket section, they also have these at Walmart right now. They're somewhat bigger than the ones I got at Aldi, but I still think they would work really well. And these handles are terrific. They're about $9 and slightly bigger dimension wise than the ones that I have from Aldi, but they are a good option in my opinion. Although you couldn't fill both of them to the top. You'd need the bottom one to be about halfway up. This, in my opinion, is very close to the basket I got from Aldi, but they only had one on the shelf. And in looking at the dimensions on the tag, I would say it's exactly the size of the one I have at Aldi, or close enough you could call it that. And I looked it up online and they're only $5. So this will be an excellent option for anyone who's interested. I'm going to go through all of these baskets that have the veggies and the hanging baskets last. These are the items that were loose on top that I went through. Onward. More jib jab. These bags that I'm dumping now were the ones in the middle of the freezer between the baskets and the hanging baskets. So I've got to sort these out as well. It's been a good long while since I've gone through these, and I'm just going to kind of whip through this. I gave away a lot of my Beyond Meat type burgers last fall, but I did keep some, and I really should have given more away because I still have way too many. So these absolutely have to go on the priority list. I keep saying that, but they absolutely have to be on the menu every single week between now and when I move. So I'm going to try to do at least 2 or 3 of those a week in one form or another. And I'm glad to see I've got several things in here that I had forgotten about, including some pita bread, etc., as well as some different meats I've forgotten about. Even though I did an inventory a year ago, you know how it goes, you guys. It doesn't matter how many times you inventory your freezer, at some point you just get a little fuzzy on exactly what's in there, especially if you've added things as time goes by since the last inventory. It's just an ongoing project. I don't care who you are. I know some of us are better at it than others. I try my best. With the continued uncertainty in the world, and now the recent wildfires in Texas and Oklahoma, my heart goes out to all of them. I'm really curious to see exactly how much beef and pork I have in here, because all of the experts are predicting once again we're going to have increased beef prices because of so many cattle losing their lives in those horrific fires. And it's been again a good while since I've gone through this, so I'm sorting this out. Here in the center, I'm stacking pork and beef and chicken as I pull things out. And I'm very happy to see that I've got more beef in here than I remember. Try to go through this as quickly as possible. We'll see how it goes, right? A little bit of raw chicken. I'm just curious to know where I'm at with the raw chicken, because you know how that is. If you want to make certain recipes, pre-cooked doesn't always flow well with that. Oh my goodness, this is why we put off doing anything like this, because we know what a big job it's going to be, right? A little more chicken. These are thighs. Got quite a bit more broth in there than I thought I had. That's good. Oh, hey, I've got 1 more pound of ground beef. Boy, that's like gold now. I've got the house opened up. It's 80 degrees and humid, but I figured, why run the AC when I've got all this frozen stuff making me cold? I'm well blessed. Very well blessed. Oh, this mahi. This is the number one reason I was digging in here, and it was literally at the very bottom. That was a very silly place for it to end up. That's everything out of my deep freezer, guys. My 7 cubic foot deep freezer. All right, so when I'm being organized, which I try real hard, I like to keep these baskets separated by meat. So I'm going to have a chicken basket and a other kinds of meats basket. These pre-cooked grilled chicken whole breasts, and some are sliced breasts. These are 1.5 pound bags. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then for my quick kind of a Chick-fil-A type sandwich, I bought these a few weeks ago. If you saw that video, I got 3 of these crispy ones. So I'm gonna put those on top for a quick grab. More of this grilled chicken. These I like to throw in my lunch bag to top salads with. These are 8 ounces each. Oh my. I'd love to be able to move by November, but I don't know if that's going to happen, you guys. The economy is so weird. Beyond meat for, crumbling and grilling. 2 random pieces of garlic toast. Those need to go on the side by side. Back to trying to figure out how much raw chicken breast I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 8 raw chicken breasts plus 2 in the side by side. So that makes 10. And this package of raw thighs plus this package of teriyaki thighs that I got on clearance. I have got to really focus on the pre-cooked grilled chicken. I also need to make this a little better organized so I can get to the quick grab things that I want. I know I have some of these in my side by side, so I'm not too worried about that right now, but on with the show. Now I'm going to fill this one with other meats. Let's start with things that I probably won't get into anytime soon. Pork chops, this great big turkey tenderloin, meatballs, broth. I'm trying to stack these so that if I want to grab something out of there, it won't be too painful. But you know how that goes. We'll see. So for beef, I have this carne asada. And check this out, you guys. I didn't even know I still had one package of clearance steak in there. And then I've got this petite tender beef filet. I like to use that not too long from now. You know, I like to eat beef maybe twice a month because I think it's good for you to mix up your meats for the different amino acid profiles. This is a roast I got on clearance at Sprouts. This pounded ground beef, a great big pork butt, which I'll have to make that and feed the office fam with that one of these days. No way would I get through all that on my own. You guys saw my shredded pork in the freezer from when the girls were here. Our hot Italian sausage ground, but it's chicken. I'm not going to try to get that into chicken because I don't really think of this as chicken per se, if that makes sense. So it's going to go in here. I've got half a package of sausage links in my side-by-side, so these I'm just going to tuck in here. I also wondered how much salmon I had in the freezer because I've really gone through it. I've only got 2 pieces of flounder in my side-by-side, and then there are about 8 in here. I've got a bag of shrimp, and then my favorite Aldi salmon, which I'll put on top there. I don't think I need to get into any of this for at least, 2 or 3, 4 weeks maybe. I didn't see my first deep freezer clean out. This little tool came with my freezer, and you just scrape the sides with it. That'll take me about 2 minutes. Then I'm going to get a broom and a dustpan and scoop it out of the bottom, and that'll be that. Well, this all would have been easier if I'd moved my car out. My house faces a busy road, and I just didn't want the noise. So that's all the ice I scraped off. Now I'm going to sweep that up, and the trick is to have a bucket handy so that you can dump without having to go running in the house with it every minute. My broom is clean because I just washed it. This would be working better if I had my tripod set up, but I just don't have any room. But you can see why I say to go at it that way, right? All right, that literally took me 5 minutes, guys. You don't have to unplug your freezer and let it all melt and drip and yada. Just scrape that bad boy down, scoop it out with your dustpan, and if you've got an upright, put a couple towels in front because things do get a little drippy around the edges if you're pulling this out as the ice kind of falls off the dustpan. Now I'm going to put things back in here and get her done. There's one, and there's 2 on top of it. So you can see I have about that much room to put things on top. That much room between the metal cube on the side there and the basket. That's why I highly recommend getting these flexible baskets. They don't get brittle from the cold, and they stack so well in here. The last thing I want to go through real quick, just so I can refresh my mind, is what's in these veggie bins. These green goddess salads are amazing. I'm going to throw one of these in my side-by-side because I'd like to eat one of those this week. I haven't had one in months. I've got some mushroom green bean risotto. That sounds great. Roasted red potatoes and green beans. That sounds great. Oh, that's good. Pepper onion mix. Some frozen green beans. I wasn't sure if I had any of those left. Rice cauliflower. More mushroom and green bean risotto. Green beans from my garden. Some peas. What have I got in here? Edamame. Trying to keep most of the green things together here. As you can tell, I don't have a lot of green in here, so if I stock up on frozen veg ever again, which I'm not prone to do now because I just don't go through it like I should, I'm only going to focus on green stuff. I'm going to put this bad boy in here. It's cauliflower, got a lot of cauliflower, it seems like. One, I got a couple in my side-by-side. Mashed sweet potatoes from 2021. Oh boy, I guess maybe I should be using those. More rice, cauliflower. Try to keep those together. More rice, cauliflower. Corn. All right, everything pretty much that I can get with these two stacked on top of each other. I really can't get any more in there without making my bins too full to stack under the basket. So I'm going to go put these in there, then get these arranged, and I'll be done. So now what I'm going to do is fill this bag, and it's going to sit down in the freezer between those tall baskets and the skinny baskets. Okay, we're in the home stretch. Yay! All right, a bag of Asian stir-fry veg. More vegetable medley. I try to keep like things together. Got 3 bags of pumpkin and a bag of butternut squash. And 1 butternut squash in my pantry. I did so well going through all that. One of these on top of my bins out there so I can get to it easily. 4 things of chicken broth. I'm going to keep 2 out towards the top so I'm not digging, you know, trying to plan ahead. I've got a couple of frozen bananas and mango. These are peaches. Sliced oranges and cranberries. Cookie dough. A little Beyond breakfast sausage. Avocado. Bunch of these low carb tortillas. Low carb bagels. Some pita bread, which I forgot I had. If you've been following my channel, you probably recognize these from the Super Bowl. Little cranberry tarts. And then these are a bunch of tortellinis. And I've been wanting a tortellini salad, but I think I'll hold off a couple weeks to make that. But I'm going to put those on top. Also going to put this blue cheese on top so I don't have to go hunting for him again. And this one's full almost to the top, but skinny. So now we're going to go put him away. And my deep freezer's going to be back together. Well, this is challenging to do without a tripod, so I'm just going to give you a peek on the before and after. So this bag of Beyond Meats is going in the bottom there. I don't know if I can get her in there on camera. Probably not. All right, so you can see why I said keep her skinny on these middle bags. And again, back to these being flexible. Okay, in with the other one. Oh, you guys. Okay, so that's the second bag in there. And I had to do a little pushing down. Now let's see if this basket fits on. I think it will. Just made it. I'm telling you, practice makes perfect when you're organizing the deep freezer, right? These are a few things that I pulled out of this middle bag. I'm just going to stack this tortellini right here because it's just so perfect. Perfect. All right, so I've got my I'm going to get in it now and then basket, the fish and the beef and the pork in there. all that chicken down on the bottom, but that's okay because I have all this chicken up here. And you guys, that's everything. So I actually have a little room in here. I'm gonna try real hard not to put a darn thing in there unless it's from my garden. Lord willing, I get blessed with a whole lot of peppers this year, plus other things. Got her done. Hour and a half, start to finish. Except for cleaning up the floor now because I made a mess out of it with all the drippiness. To wrap things up, these are the few things that I kept out of the deep freezer that I'm going to do some meal prepping with this coming week, with the exception of, a couple of these veggie burgers. Those I'll just stick in the side by side for the following week because I need to focus on using those up. So I'm going to make some green goddess salad and throw some of that grilled Springer Mountain Farms chicken with it. I've been craving Cajun chicken pasta. I think it's because I'm always watching Gigi in Tennessee, April at her channel, and she's from Louisiana, and I'm always thinking I need to eat more spice. And then these I'm just putting in the freezer because they're, mostly gone open. I don't want them in the deep freezer. I'll use those mashed sweet potatoes as a side and round out the meal plan with some other things. And then to wrap up the inventory for myself and maybe an idea for others, I wanted to see how much beef and pork I had in the way of ounces, as well as chicken and seafood. Obviously, chicken is my preferred category, and I have way more than enough for a long time on that, but I'm very short on seafood. A little bit of vegetarian, which is mostly those Beyond Meat burgers, but good to have. And my number one goal for doing this inventory was to see how much total protein I have on hand. And based on this summary, I've got 6 months supply. So with the exception of a little seafood, I won't be buying any more protein. And my side-by-side is still stuffed. I keep shuffling things around. This is bird food. Some lasagna that I meal prepped. And you guys have been through this with me several times before, so I'm not going to go over it all. But yeah, I do not need to go to the store for much at all, do I? I am well blessed. Amen. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you on the next one.